is Charlie McGrath. I'm the founder of WideAwakeNews.com and a host on the Rinse Radio Network. I want to share with you an email I received from one of these political action groups that supports the president. Now, I subscribe to a couple of these ones, and I subscribe to a couple on the red team side, basically just so I can see the propaganda that they're trying to use to drive a wedge between the people in this country. This person sends an email touting the efforts of the president to stem the foreclosure tide with his executive orders that he's announced today that he's going to be taking. The email goes on to say, today he, the president, announced new rules on federal mortgages to prevent more families from losing their homes to foreclosure. And that's just the beginning. The president said that he would continue to make the changes he can by executive action while continuing to urge Congress to act on legislation to strengthen the economy and create jobs. If Congress doesn't act, he will, ... because millions of Americans can't just wait for Congress to do their jobs. Now, this is more rhetoric, more propaganda. We've had over 3.5 years since the bailouts began in this country and over 1 million foreclosures a year. All of a sudden, now we need an executive order in order to stem the tide of foreclosures. Well, we've had robo-signing, we've had case after case of people being tossed out because they've lost their jobs in a decimated economy that was brought to them by the too big to fail. And we've never stopped bailing out these same exact too big to fail. So now all of a sudden we're expecting the president to use executive order in order to save the economy. It's nothing more than a distraction, smoke and mirrors to make it look like something that is being done on behalf of Main Street. Just like the smokescreen of going after and killing Muammar Gaddafi. We have our own Secretary of State coming out talking about how we came, we saw, he died. This bloodlust they're trying to evoke in this country so we can focus our attention somewhere else. But meanwhile, while this distraction occurs, we have a big piece of news that comes out over the weekend that nobody's talking about, and that's the fact that all of a sudden the IMF is going to be asked to backstop the euro bailout. Over the weekend, it was announced, Germany announced today, that the $400 billion euro plan, that they all agreed to increase it to that 400 billion euro amount, is suddenly going to be leveraged to the 1 point whatever trillion euro that Geithner went over there a month ago talking about. Now, who's going to backstop this extra money? Because Germany says they're on board for the 200 billion that they agreed to at the get-go, and France is saying something very similar. Nobody's stepping up and offering more of the people of Germany's money, or more of the people of France's money, or more of the people of Europe's money. But this article attached will show you who exactly is going to be responsible for it. The European Central Bank giving a Central Bank of Europe even more power, and of course the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, is going to be asked to backstop this. So while we're arguing about should the president use executive order in order to stem the tide of foreclosure, or should we be going after and killing leaders of sovereign nations, we're having a backdoor bailout issued by a person, Timothy Geithner, who's supposed to be the Treasury Secretary of this country, but he just happens to be our representative to the International Monetary Fund. The amount of looting is worse than ever, and it is going to continue until we start to shed the names that the mainstream media is giving to this Occupy movement, be it left, right, center, or whatever, and realize that we are all in this together. No matter what your social ideology happens to be, it is this very huge majority of have-nots that truly versus this very small 1% or less of the haves. Stories are attached. That's all I got.